What's up, Jody? Let me know my sound is good. I'm just here. I ain't got much going on tonight. Figured I'd drop in. Claudette, what's going on? My my girls are the peanut gallery is over at Grandma's house right now. So how's everyone doing? Heavy McKean, Sean Ellis, what's up, man? Is it Renita or Renetta, Arkansas? What's up? Haven't seen me since last night. That's right. I'm alone tonight. I don't have I don't have the little ones running around. They're out at grandma's swimming right now. So Scotland, what's up, man? That's awesome. Time you know this comes up. Oh, thank you, Laura. That's pretty cool. I'm just at home, seeing how everyone's weekend's going. Um, hit the like button. What I'm supposed to say. Canada, how you doing, Kathy? To let's see, CSPOA. Explain what that one was again. Heavy. I'm kind of slow. Spent a lot of years in getting my head bashed in. So I think I remember that, but explain that one. No connection? Saying connection isn't good. Let me check on that. Oh, okay. Everyone else, let me know how my connection is and the sound. Oh, I did look into that. Heavy, I did look into that. Is actually was pretty intriguing. I would like to. I read a little bit on it when I think you first told me about it. I went on their website and stuff. I don't know. I think I actually liked what I was seeing. I'm not sure. Can you become a member or a supporter? But I really did like what they were saying on there. I'm gonna check it out a little bit further. I can hear and see well. All right, let's see. Joe, I hope you're doing okay. What happened at the hospital, man? New Mexico. I appreciate. I met a judge from. Remember that judge we met from New Mexico, T, on our honeymoon? Yeah, they were great people. Hung out with them a couple of days. That was great. It was a judge and a bunch of her family, man. Good people. All right, I want to make sure everyone's good. I was uh, I was thinking about seeing that I see that people are from so many different places here. I was gonna actually tell you a little bit about where I'm from here in we call it Chicagoland. French Canadian friend, how you doing? I only know, let me see, au revoir. Does that mean bye? Au revoir. Uh, I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Andre. Qualified immunity. It definitely that I've been researching that. It definitely protects, a lot of times protects who it shouldn't protect. I want to get a little bit more in depth. There's a lot of moving parts to that one, but I'm going to speak on it. I keep saying it, but I promise you, I'm looking more into it. Um, Anything that protects um, people who violate rights, though, it's got to go. It's got to be switched over. It's got to. It's not a matter of there shouldn't be any compromise to that. If it protects people that are being tyrants, and then it needs to be tweaked, gotten rid of. But I like to speak a little more depth because there's different levels to that one. Au revoir, goodbye. Okay, that's the one I knew. I got actually I have some Haitian friends that they speak French. They were telling me that's the only one I could remember. Let's see. Hear about off-duty officers involved. Cool. No, I would like to look into that one, Sean. Keegan, what's up? Hey, I'm sorry about you having to go through that. Man, that's so cool. That's so cool. Keep pushing, man. Good to see you again. Yeah, I had to do another quick one. I can't stay that long. I gotta get the babies here in a little bit, but just want to pop in and say what's up, and I appreciate all you guys. Individual liabilities with yeah, I tend to agree with you, Jody. I want to see, is there someone you could steer me to that's really good, that speaks. It's funny because there's not too much educational speak that I've been able to find, like rational talk on the points, the pros and cons of qualified immunity. Um, so I'd like to. I just want to find somebody that has more rational thinking and is not like playing one side or the other, but like laying out the facts of it and all the moving parts to it. Is Zion one of the busiest police departments in Lake County? Yes, we are. Zion is Zion is, let's see, a little bit about Zion is where I grew up at. A little bit about our city is people will always Google, and a lot of my trolls will Google that and see that my city is a smaller city, and I get a lot of comments like it's Mayberry or something, which is kind of funny. Like if you came there, you wouldn't say that if you came there. Um, my city is a part of we call it Chicagoland. So what Lake County, Illinois is north of Cook County, which is Chicago. Chicago's about a 45-minute zip down without traffic, zip down the highway. But we take my city itself, Zion. It's got 25,000 people, but we hold 35% of our county's housing. So it's all rentals. It's a lot of single mother homes. It's a lot of Chicago transplants that came from the city. So I love my city, but unfortunately, there is a lot of criminal element that goes with that, um, and that's kind of how the makeup of our city is. So as far as police work, there is nothing that I haven't worked tons of. We have shootings all the time. We have murders all the time. We have as much violence as I can take on my plate. Like I've worked. I mean, I couldn't even begin to tell you in 20 years. Um, uh, so many enough of homicides, enough robberies, enough shootings that I couldn't put a number to it. I just there's we deal with it all the time and constantly. So for some of these trolls to like say that we're like Mayberry or that I haven't done real police work, that couldn't be farther from the truth. All you'd have to do is come and see. I love my city, but we do say that if you can work in our city, you can pretty much work anywhere. We have plenty of crime of any big city. We're actually Zion is a part of what they call it a cluster now because of all the gun violence. They named Zion, Waukegan, Kenosha, North Chicago. I think Round Lake maybe fit in there somewhere because there's such a gun violence problem. They kind of cluster us in together. So they call it the Northern Illinois cluster now. So we see it all. Don't worry, we see it all. I do real police work and have done for a long time. So let's see. Did you have a lot of without getting much details this week? Okay. What's up, low contrast, my man? I come to Zion, love to see you and your family born. Oh my gosh, yeah, Kim, you know about Zion. You know Zion is a beautiful city, but we do a lot of police work there. Let's see. I appreciate you, Joel. I'm trying to go through some of these comments here. Make sure. Let's see. All right, Keegan, I'm terrible at 10 codes because we don't use anymore. What does 1015s mean? Tell me. I haven't used it. We went away from 10 codes about maybe a decade ago, so I don't remember that one quite because we haven't used them in so long. Charles, that's my point. That's what I want to do. Right after the incident, the word. Yeah, I want to check that one out. If there's a way you can email me that stuff, if you guys want me to speak on something, just email it to me. It's Matt at mfbyouth.org. It should be in my bio and my YouTube. So I like to look at different articles and talk about them or different videos and comment and give a kind of an objective, like non-biased type of what I think of it. Because I'll tell you the truth. How long ago did you live here, Kim? Let's see. Romantic Connecticut is similar to Zion. You know what Zion is very similar to? It's kind of eerie because the population, the demographics, so very similar to Ferguson, Missouri. That's what I would compare it to. United with the people, heavy. That's my goal. So I really want to look into that a little bit. And so I did like what I seen. I watched about I think it was like a half-hour video on what they do and stuff. Bilo, what should we do about known prolific individuals who participate in human trafficking? Yeah, that's crazy stuff. That stuff is man. I watch a lot of the. It's more prevalent than we realize, and it's really disgusting. That's a that's a man. That's a whole nother life, and the human trafficking. Did you ever think it would be this bad in this world, man? That's crazy. How much cash the department sees every month using asset forfeiture? That would be a question for the downstairs guys. I don't know. They have all the statistics, Steve. 19 cells. So you've been gone a while, Kim. You've been down there. See, a lot of people come up from Mississippi. 10 codes, only 10 for just all talk situation, asking other officers. Person in custody, all that happens. Oh my gosh. Whew, I couldn't begin to tell you. There's so many arrests that happened quite a bit. I work in the school now. Unfortunately, I did 11 years on patrol. I worked the street and worked midnight shift most of the time in Zion. And then I became a detective and they put me on mostly violent crimes. I handled most of the burglaries, shootings, homicides. Obviously, we all worked them together. And other sex cases, I was unfortunately hit with a ton of those. I was in charge of a lot of those. And then I stopped being a detective in 2021, and I got a job, luckily, in the school, and I'm an SRO now. Let's see what we got. Charles, well, you should become a Muslim. Assalamu alaikum. Charles, with all due respect, I love you, brother. I'm a Christian man. I believe in Christ Jesus, but that's not to disparage your faith in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, I love you. I love you the same exactly. We all serve a God, and yeah, I'm sold out to Christ Jesus. Come up and do a ride along. Low contrast. I don't do ride alongs because I'm in the schools now, but I'm sure they do them. They still do them. You just have to sign a waiver for them. They do them all the time. Moonlight, you're brand new. It's fun here. We have fun here. Do you think it's okay to pull people over and take cash and other valuables? No, I do not. I guess depending on the only time I think that's really pertinent, I guess, if you can prove that their proceeds were used. Well, let's say you made a bunch of drug money, and you can prove that that's how they got their stuff. That's usually when I've seen in my city, at least, when they will seize cash, and most of the time it's really not valuables. It's really just cash if you can prove that they use it selling drugs. Um, that's usually how it works in our city. Yep, I see a lot of Mississippi people that came to Zion. I heard there was a big migration. Let's see. What percentage of cases do you think you solve with an arrest? Oh, that's a good question. That's one for my lieutenant. I've solved plenty of them. I really couldn't put a percentage on it. Over 20 years of work, that'd be a hard one to put a number to. Solved a lot though. I've put the handcuffs on. You think of it, I've seen it and done it. Man, that's a big deal. Felina, if you represent yourself in a Supreme Court case, did you really speak for yourself? That's actually, I want to hear about that. Rowdy, what's up, man? Finally caught live, Chris. Yeah, I can't be out here that long. I'm just popping in to say what's up to my people. Love you guys. I'm out of Illinois, Brian. Website. I'm sorry. Heavy website is. I thought my email would be in there, but my website is mfbyouth.org, and then my email is connected to that. mfbyouth.org. So it's M as in Mary, F as in Frank, B as in boy, youth.org. Never did anything wrong, and people. Yeah, I mean it's cases like that you think if you know of it, just think of how many else, Felina, how many other ones that we don't know about. I mean, stories like that make me sick. It's a disgrace to what we do. What doesn't separate it doesn't separate what separates you from a criminal or organized crime if you're going to do stuff that you're not supposed to be doing. Yeah, I still qualify as a detective. They give me detective cases, low contrast. I do work in a school, but they give me detective cases during the summer. Um, I still do plenty of those, and believe me, they use me up. They gave me plenty of cases this summer. But I just don't have to do the on-call stuff, which is cool. That was the worst part, getting woke up. So when we were on call for detective cases, Usually anyone got shot, which happens all the time in my city. If someone was actually in the hospital, got shot or murdered, we all get called out for. So when you were on call, my goodness, that was terrible. Like you couldn't sleep. As we did 7 days on call, and there would be you just can't rest that whole 7 days. It's pretty stressful. But and when you wake up, the adrenaline kicks in, and you just go try to solve crime. That's what I'm in for. That's what I'm in it for. I loved it. Yep, just my that's my email. That's my email, Felina. Rowdy, man, I'd like to. Is there a way, Rowdy? Can we follow that? That would actually be pretty cool to follow. Tamara, yes, detective work was fun. It's just another level. People look at you a little differently when you're in a shirt and tie, you're in plain clothes. They, for some reason, people will talk to you more than they do that blue uniform. Um, it's more in depth. It is harder work. Detective work is harder work because we're the ones that have to you deal. Like the most heartbreaking thing to me is dealing with families after their loved one was murdered, and then you have to sit down and you're accountable to them, and you. I get very emotional with that. So that you kind of become one of their family, and that doesn't end. Like when the case is over, their loved one is still gone, and I still keep in touch with a lot of people who's who are victims, and it's a lot to weigh on your heart. It's a lot because I love everybody. So when I see another human being hurting, I take that personal. I get emotionally invested. I just can't help it. So it is a lot on your plate when dealing with stuff like that. Let's see. All right, Renata, good to see you. We'll be driving through Chicago this weekend. I've never visited that part of the country. Any recommendation? Words of advice? Joe Blow, Chicago. Let's see. It should be pretty hot in Chicago. Uh, I'm not a like. Let's see. Depends on where you go. It just depends on what your plans are, where to go. The word of advice is a lot of good food. Chicago has some of the best food in the country. Depends on what you're doing. Where are you going to head to? Let me know. I appreciate you know where. Honored to serve. Let's see. Yeah, hit me up, low contrast, man. I would love to. I'll buy you lunch, man. Of course, I'm good, man. We welcome anybody to MFB. Let's see. Russ, God bless you too, brother. God bless you, Kim. I try to be, man. Christ saved me. I try to follow him, and I give him all the credit for whatever I do. Amanda, what do you need my opinion on? Much love, Kate, man. Right back, man. Joe from Michigan, what's up, brother? Arguments about Institutes for Just Jody. Go to my email. It's at mfbuyouth.org, and I want to see that stuff. I really want to because I studied a lot of this stuff. I like to study. I didn't go to college, so I'm not much of a reader guy. But if I can watch it a bit or get good points, and then that's where kind of my studying comes from. Is I'm more of a visual and a hearing type of guy. But if I could see that, that would be very interesting to see, Jody. Raymond, appreciate it, man. I do try to keep the ugly in my profession. I try to call them out. It's something that needs to be done. Kim, this is true. Oh my gosh, this is true. We all fall short, but um, there's a lot of scripture that of to prove who's who, and to kind of evidences of the fruits they call it. Okay, man, I appreciate you, K man. Let's see. I'll send you some info. I love everything I see you do. Thank you, Heavy Man. I appreciate that. Amanda, hold on. I'm trying to get to all my comments here. Amanda, let's see. Why do certain colors act some ways? Oh, that's a that's an interesting debate. I don't. It depends on what you're talking about. Um, I don't really see myself. Let me me see. Hold on. Me myself, it just I come from two different cultures. I'm mixed. I'm half Mexican. I'm half Irish. There is two distinct ways that my family lives, and I guess every culture is different. That's what I say. I celebrate them all. I celebrate all cultures. I got uh, I got a daughter who's half black. I got daughters that are three quarters Mexican, quarter Irish. I got like we just celebrate. I got every pretty much every race in my family. So and every culture is different, and in a beautiful way, the way I see it. Let's see, Steve. I get that question quite a bit. Um, there's ways to handle things, and yes, people ask. Yes, I have testified in court against officers. Um, this is and once you do that, I think I've talked about that a lot. Once you make it, you're known that you know what, I'm not going to play games, and I'm gonna out you if I see you doing wrong. I'm telling you, bad cops will avoid you like the plague. They will stay away from you. They're not going to do that stuff. And that's what I think every officer needs to scream louder is that, you know what, I'm not putting up with this. And it's not like none of it, zero, tolerate. I will tolerate none of it. And if every officer had that reputation, we clean this up quick. Verlene, I appreciate that, man. We love you right back. Yes, Sean, every culture is similar in some type of way, but we're all, to me, if you're human, I love you. If no matter what background, culture, identity you come from, I'm no better than anybody. I just like try to love people. One culture, yeah, there you go, crucifix. One culture. That's the way I see it. Let's see. What do you do when you have a small town police chief who is corrupting everyone you go to? Man, that's a tough one. Targeted. If you let's say if you want to go to someone, they always teach us if something like that is going on, you go to an outside agency, and then you just keep going to other bigger outside agencies till something that gets done and until somebody listens to you. There's a bunch of different ways to go about that. Let's see. Coach Ray, is it legal for cops to detain you and get a search warrant for your vehicle? It would depend on the situation, Coach. That's so that there's so many moving parts to that one. It would depend on what you're detained for. Yeah, you would I would have to see more information on that to kind of comment. See, Terry, my favorite cop. I appreciate you. What's going on in California, man? I want to hear about that. Let's see. Something I have taught my kids. You are no better than anyone else. Yeah, that's the way I see it. I'm not better than anybody. Smash the like button, peeps. Tell them low contrast. I love my faith in police. So thank you. I appreciate that. We're all truly the same. This whole life thing will be pretty boring. Yeah, I like I said, I love different cultures. Let me see. In my like connected to me. Um, I have cousins that are half black, half Mexican, cousins that are half Puerto Rican, half Mexican, cousins that are half Polish, half Mexican. I got everything in my family. So we just celebrate it all. All right. I had to say bye to mama. She had to leave. Tino. Yeah, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Patrick, how you doing, man? How's things going? Where you from? I forgot where you. I sent you a book. Remind me real quick, because I got a terrible memory. Let's see. Let's see. Why did you become a cop? Was there one incident that made up your mind? Justin, good question. I became a cop, which is funny. Never aspired to. I hated police, like hated police. Pretty much growing up and well into my adulthood. I worked, got charged. I had a criminal record. I got charged when I was 21 I had an illegal firearm on me. Got arrested for it. Got charged. So I figured that my uh, my life would just be blue collar. Never went to college. Never went to military. And it was kind of funny how it happened. I just saw an ad in the paper, and I thought, you know what? I'm a street smart dude, and it was as simple as I'll be making like twice as much money as I ever thought I would. So I have nothing to lose by becoming a cop. So I applied and I got the job, and that's how it all started. Maybe that was why. Maybe that's why I never, because I didn't like police, and I didn't take it because I aspired to be this officer. I just took it because it seemed like a cool job. I really didn't really give it too much other thought. I thought it would be fun, and maybe that's why I never bought into any of that blue mentality. I always like to look back and see, but there was no incident. It was just an ad to paper basically, and that was it. Do you think the police recruits should come from community or similar areas to connect it to the area? Christian, that is a great question. Yes, I think a lot of things would be solved if the people came. Like I grew up in the city that I police, and it's if you come from a city. See, my city is when I was growing up, it was basically half black, half white, and it had a certain culture to it, and everyone just it's kind of how the dynamics of the city is what I was used to because that's where I grew up. And when you take a someone who's, I mean, we've literally had officers that have never interacted with a black person before, and we hire them to come into our city with our culture and tell people what's what. That doesn't make sense to me. It never has. So yes, Christian, I believe big time that people that grew up in that community should police that community because they know and they can relate to people and they actually have a genuine love. Like I had a genuine love for my city when I got the job. So I love the people even before I even got the job. So yeah, I think that's a great to have a connection. I'm not saying that it has to be that like that all the time, but I think that helps a great deal. See, Sean, I'm white, quarter black, quarter Puerto Rican. Basically, if Brooklyn was a whole bay, that's pretty cool. See, Sean, I love culture like that. I really do. I have two different sides. I have two different sides of myself, of my culture, and I celebrate them both. And it's funny to see both sides of my family get together. It doesn't happen very often because my Irish side all lives in Vegas. But when they do come, I remember my Mexican granddaddy would get with my Irish granddaddy, and it was two totally different worlds coming together. But we celebrated it. It was great. Fueled by plans, you're literally changing the narrative of cops, bro. I appreciate that. I just try to speak my opinion and my love, my truth and love. That's all I see it. From my view, we are more similar with other people than different. Yep, we are. We are. I guess there's a lot of living proof of that. I just love that. I love it when cultures come together. It's great. Life mission. Keep me updated, Lena. I'm looking forward to reading that stuff. Do you have content about your experience on YouTube? Oh yeah, content about my experience. I thought I read that wrong. I'm a little slow sometimes. Targeted. If you want to look in the video, there's in my video section. There's a documentary that they filmed. So like a 25-minute documentary, 25 minute, 30-minute documentary about like my experience and how I became a cop and kind of where I came from. And if you look under my video section, I look terrible in it because it was during the COVID era and my ingenious chief at the time. I love you, chief, but it was the dumbest thing ever that we had to shave. So I was clean shaven. I looked terrible. But they did a documentary about it. So you look under, it's called The Story of Detective Matt Thornton. So if you look under my videos, it's under there. It was actually pretty well done. I was pleasantly surprised, but it kind of explains in short how I became a cop and what I went through and everything like that. So it doesn't go too much into it. It focuses more on my mental state and then how God changed me in my walk with Him. But it kind of explains in a nutshell. It doesn't go too much into police reform, but that's coming up in more writings and documentaries. I promise you. Patrick, thank you, man. Patrick, I thank you that you would even read my book. I really, really appreciate that, and I just hope that you could take something out of it. And I'm just honored that you would read my story, man. I love it. Let's see. Let's see. Shane, question: arrested for DUI simply because I have prescription medication in my vehicle. I've asked for blood tests and they refuse to. Well, it's a state's job. Shannon, it's the state's job to prove your impairment. So I don't see how that's possible. But yeah, I would just get. I'd like a little more detail about that. But yeah, they got to prove that you were impaired. Uh, Justin, I appreciate that, man. Crucifix is between school and life. School teaches a lesson, then tests you. In life, you are tested and then learn. Yeah, I always tell my kids that I mentor, I was like, don't learn from your own mistakes. Look at somebody else and learn from their mistakes, and then don't and try to keep it from making your own mistakes. Laylo, I appreciate you. Appreciate you. Uh, do I trust police? Whoo, that is a Steve. That is a man. That is an intricate question. The ones that are good, yeah. But I'm not stupid. I know that I know what I've seen. I know what I've experienced. I've had some horrible interactions with cops, even since I've been a cop. When I'm off duty, when I'm on duty, I stand up like a man. I let it be known that you ain't gonna do that nonsense in front of me, and I lead by example. But like when I'm off duty, I've had some horrible experiences with cops still. Um, but yeah, so I guess Steve, to answer your question, do I trust? Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes I get just as scared as uh, as the next person. What would I implement into the training to improve cops' quality? I would implement taking the us versus them, taking that notion and taking that idea, the militarization of police, take it out back, put a grenade in it, and blow it up. Period. That us versus them garbage is what has ruined and is what keeps this wall of division up. Um, there, it's there's a in police training. There's this element that to my opinion, they fearmonger. They you kind of come out of the academy with this thinking that everyone out there is a violator that's going to kill you. They kind of make you. I think it's just way off base. I think that portion of it. They are. I remember getting trained 20 years ago, and you're not supposed to be vulnerable to people. Hide your identity. Don't be out and about in the city that you work in because someone may try to take you out. It's almost like they teach this keep society at arm's length mentality for officers. We weren't allowed to have social media. You weren't allowed to identify yourself as an officer on social media like that. It's just this warfare mind state of we're the blue guys and the rest are the violators. That needs to be untrained and just thrown in the trash. The people say that whatever happened to officer friendly, that you were part of the community. Officer should be no different than the local barber. Let everybody knows that everybody can approach at any time. That's the way it's supposed to be. That's what needs to be trained first and foremost. The militarization of the police is was a huge mistake in this country. That is first and foremost the training that needs to be implemented, and that not everybody is your enemy. Like you're no better than like I remember I run an organization that helps. It's mostly geared towards youth, but we take anybody in there. Like we will give anybody a chance. I mean, there's kids in there that I know that have done horrible things in my city, um, but I rub shoulders with them. I rub elbows with them. I try to help them. I personally get involved in their lives, and that was something that was so taboo when I was trained. It's like you have to keep certain people just away from you, and I think it's disgusting. Let's see. Help expose. I got to look. My wife was telling me a little about that Hawaii fire stuff. I have to look into that. I just haven't had the time to really look into that. Oh, dark tent. I'm looking at yours. Yeah, that doesn't in my state, coach. Dark tent does not necessarily. That doesn't. No, that doesn't. There have to be more reason than just dark tint. That doesn't constitute you have Fourth Amendment. You can't just search based off a dark tint. William, what's up, man? Oh, Target, man. I'm sorry about that. I'm a little slow sometimes, man. Uh, Kayla, what's up? Yep, burden of proof is on the state. That's what you're taught from day one. Do I like grounded? I'm not sure what that is, Atticus. Uh, let's see. I watch a judge on YouTube, and people send him money to pay for parking tickets for people who can afford it. Do you do anything? Do you have a fund supported body of watchers? I have a well, the nonprofit that I run, Justin. We can support people. We get uh, community support, and we do help somewhat like that. We gear towards the youth, but if there's a crisis in there and there's something that we've gotten so many kids, made sure they were taken care of, made sure they got to court, made sure financially they had enough to sustain and be able to keep their drivers, be able to get their lights turned back on. So we do support stuff like that all the time. We get it from public support that we get from it's called My Father's Business. We get it and take care of the youth in there. So we've been pretty blessed. So we do help with stuff like that. It doesn't come from my YouTube watchers though. It really comes from my organization. So and that's just local donors. We've won some grants. We have some churches support us a lot and stuff like that. So it takes a community, takes a village or whatever that phrase is. But we take care of the mostly we have mostly fatherless boys with us. So trust the cops that earn it, Kayla. That's the truth. Oh my gosh, Sean, that is so perfectly stated. Yes, a deeply ingrained loyalty ideology is a catalyst in perpetuating. I can't use big words like that, like you. That's really good. The disconnect between cops and civilians. Um, this is so true. Uh, when you are taught that everyone is a violator, it's us against them. There's no. It is almost like a religion. It's an ideology, and it keeps people at arm's length, and it's a distrust of everybody. That needs to change. And that causes such a division. Oh my gosh. It causes people just to scream at each other instead of just saying, let's sit down and talk. Work undercover deep south of West Texas. It would be interesting seeing pull you over. Yeah, no, that would be pretty scary actually, Steve. Pretty scary for me. Let's see. Thank you, Heavy. Hit me up. Hit me up. I've never had a bad moment with the police officer, but I've been watching audit videos and have seen millions of people do. Yeah, I had a man. See, if I was an auditor with a camera, and this was not too long ago, I was treated so horribly by this pack of police officers. It was in my same county. I was in plain clothes. I wasn't even on duty. I was in just a regular in my regular car. I asked a question, and I've never been talked to that horribly in my life, and it was shocking. And so, how can I sit there and say that there's not bad interactions or excuse that behavior? I was livid. I'm still livid about that, and it should never happen. It's disgusting. You're disgraceful. If you talk to a person like that in any capacity that's not even doing anything, um, it was really disgusting. And yes, I did. I put up a video afterwards, and I called them out. Yeah, for the record, they teach officer safety. That there's a way to teach that, and there's a way not to teach that. I think that needs to be revamped big time. You can be safe and still be a human being. Let's see. I see the division growing, but at the same time, I see the changes for the better happening at the same time. Targeted, that's a good point. I do see a shift. I see a shift in the mentality. I see a shift in that there's an old guard. There's this old guard of policing that, to me, it needs to go. It's a way of thinking that has been around way too long. It's that military mindset, but I see it shifting. I do. I really do. And being able to speak out publicly, officers can do this now. See, I'd have been canned 10, 15 years ago for doing this, for talking like this. They'd have found a reason to there'd have been a policy, or we wouldn't have been allowed to speak as openly. Um, I honestly think that this wouldn't have been, I wouldn't have been doing this or wouldn't have been doing it for long back in the day. But I feel that the world has opened their eyes to more truth, and I think that I do feel a shift, man. As citizens, low conscious citizens, our job and our duty to keep them in check. I will always keep a cop in check. Get rid of the lions, the tyrants, and the bullies. That is perfectly stated. The the uh, the Constitution was designed to keep the government accountable and in check and not give them overreach. And that's what we swore to uphold. So, yes, I am all for keeping public servants accountable. That's why I'm a huge advocate of the auditors and people that hold us accountable. That's what we're supposed to. We work for them. I'll never stop saying that. I never understand why cops get butthurt over that. Targeted, I appreciate you, brother. I feel like no matter how cool a cop is, they're still gonna back blue over me, even if I'm not wrong. That's just my life experience, and I'm so sorry that you had to deal with that, Sean. That should never be. It should just be right. And I, man, they call it cop splaining. Like a lot of times you just it's almost like you could be reaching for a reason to try to back your partner up. To me, wrong is wrong, right is right. And I'm sorry you had to feel that, man. Explain to me what Prop 47 is again, AJ. I'm a little slow sometimes. Let's see. Whoo, Steve. No, actually, that's where my ex-wife is from. That very city, and that city's it's pretty. I hear it's beautiful. Never been there. My daughter was there when she was younger with my ex-wife. But yeah, that something I wouldn't do, and I wouldn't get that tattoo. I'm not about that. I'm not about that, and I've said it a million times. I don't do that line stuff. Never have, never will. There's no line. We're just humans. My thing is to do the right thing and love others. I appreciate you, Rich. Yeah, Sean, the flag would be the least of your worries, man. Occasional now, SW. Appreciate that, man. Thank you. Oh, up to Canada. Never been there. Never been there. Let's see. There you go, Steve. A low contrast. I don't do that line stuff. Tapatios, what's up, man? My man. I love that dude, man. Let's see. Ask how to handle policing and. Uh, I'm trying to get to all of these because I got to leave in 2 seconds, man. Let's see. Crucifix. Need to go back to Norman Rockwell cop look, not the military look. Yes. All the military look guys, the ones who are from that old, whatever that old guard is, those are the ones who give me most grief about the way that I look. Too bad. People relate to me. They do. They always have. Let's see. Greg Anderson. I think Hawk fan. I think I know that story. I think I know that story. I think he made a video or something to get fired for. Let's see. How do we just talked about that, Jody. Schools back to teaching civil rights instead of yeah, I was just talking about that last night. We should teach kids from a small age, like what our rights are, what the Constitution actually is, and what it's designed for. Yes, I appreciate, man. Drug possession and low levels. That. Oh yeah, okay, that's the one. See, I'm a little slow. I did a lot of years in the boxing ring, so I'm a little slow. When you say things, all you gotta do is kind of remind me what they are sometimes. Reducing felony convictions for drug possession and low-level theft convictions to misdemeanors. I think a lot of that stuff had to be tweaked, and I think a lot of our court system had to be downsized. That's why Illinois they decriminalized a lot of these cannabis cases that was just clogging up the system. And there's, if done correctly, I think that will do so. It save a lot of headaches and time and money. I watch a few auditors crucifix. Why is it some cops need to give a directive? Oh my gosh, I've spoken on this so many times, Crucifix. It is 100% the ego power thing. They have to feel in charge. So they will have to tell you something that's like Captain Obvious. Like, okay, you'll see it a lot. Like, I just want to make sure you don't walk in the street or make sure you stay over. Like, dude, that's a grown up. You're telling another grown man something so simple, but it's because they have this ego and they have this thing that they have to have the one up on somebody to talk down on them or to give them a directive so they feel, I guess, superior or authoritative. But yeah, that's exactly why. That's ego, 100% crucifix. I don't know. I don't do that Captain Obvious stuff. I don't need to tell other people unless you're a child. I don't need to tell you don't run with scissors. I don't need to tell you don't to look both ways. Like, stop. I think that's insulting to any adult. Let me see. I'm trying to get to these because I got to go pick up my babies. Let me see. Get to the bottom. Yes, man, I appreciate that, man. If you everybody's not in Illinois, I'll break bread with you, man. Hit me up. We'll go to lunch. Reach anybody, yeah. Let me know, Hawk fan, man. Hit me up. Like I said, my website mfbyouth.org. That's where you can get a hold of me. I'm emails right in there. Are there many Christians in your department? Huh? Jesus is a taboo subject a lot of times in the police department. Sadly, that's a tough one. That's a tough one to accept. Let's see. All right, well, let me wrap this up. I just want to say I love all you guys. I appreciate you guys just joining me. I got to go get my daughters, but I appreciate you guys. Stay safe. We love you. Appreciate the support, and have a good Labor Day tomorrow. For everyone that's off work, be safe, and God bless. Thank God for everybody.